Chapter 10. Continued. In the defense positions above the caves, the Iuja are training Andrexia men who will now support during the coming fight. I need you to understand how this weapon works in case I am injured. You need to maintain our assigned kill zone. This is the site. You look through here, and when you have your target, push this button and the weapon fires until you release. The zone of our assignment is anything between the rock on your right and the big tree in the center. Do you have to wait or something to recharge? Can I sweep the zone? No need to reload. The main worry is that if you fire too long, the gun overheats. You will feel when you need to stop firing. Then count to 30 and you should be ready to go again. Yes, you can sweep the zone. Because we are in the right-hand flank, there are a series of booby traps in case they try to outflank us. The trees should protect us and warn us if the Lwax try to sneak up. If you hear an explosion on the right, it's a trap and we need to stop them from reaching our position. With the morning coming, the Iuja scout and 2 of the Andrexia return to the cave. The women come to greet their men, but Lwax could not see Varian. Jsarex, where is Varian? Why didn't he return? I heard he was separated from the other scouts and no one saw what happened to him. There were no signs of his capture, so we just don't know what happened. The surveillance indicated Lwax are gathering supplies, gathering their force time to prepare for attack. The trees, grass, and bushes are being stripped by the Lwax as they eat everything in sight. I'm sorry, but I know there is hope. With the news, Lwax breaks down crying, falling to her knees as Winix and some of the women help her deeper into the caves to find a place to rest. As light breaks over the surrounding trees, a hint of an attack takes place by the Lwax. A few Lwax are killed by the sharpshooting Iuja as the Lwax force is attempting to get a closer view of the defenses. As the Lwax withdraw, the surveillance teams keep busy setting traps. After the sun's rise in the sky, the Lwax began a frontal assault. Explosions are heard as a few Lwax are taken out by the deadly traps placed by the scout teams. The remaining Lwax continue to advance on the caves. Jsarex calls out to the defense positions. Okay, here they come. Keep your fire zones. The crossfire of the Iuja positioning weapons proved withering. A small Iuja defending force with the superior weapons killed many Lwax. Suddenly, a call rings out from the Lwax ground leader. Pull back, pull back. The reduced Lwax force retreats away from the caves, back into the tree growth. The night falls as the campfires are replaced by the light of plasma beams when the Lwax force attempts the night assault. The area glows from the burst of plasma beams emanating from the Lwax and Iuja weapons. Suddenly explosions occur off to the right and left of the Iuja positions. The Lwax are attempting to outflank the Iuja positions, running into pre-positioned traps. The Iuja split their manning at each of the flank posts. Spare members head out to the locations of the explosions from their traps. The Iuja fire positions respond with almost constant plasma glow, creating an eerie light over the battleground. The front of the cave opening changes to a growing pile of dead Lwax bodies. The growing flat field begins to stack high with dead Lwax in a long row supported by overlapping of the Iuja killing zones. On the outer flanks of the Iuja defenders, Iuja crawl as they approach the explosion positions. To the right of the cave, Jsarex, the Iuja, can see a small group of Lwax trying to regroup after losing a number of their team. 3 remaining Lwax pick up their rifles and start to charge forward. Jsarex issues a single plasma stream shot, sweeping the area and cutting the 3 Lwax in half across their midsections. With their deaths, Jsarex cautiously edges ahead until he is sure that there is no more danger. After setting up another trap, he pulls back and returns to the flank position and continues to support the defenses against the frontal attack. On the left side, 4 Lwax had survived the hidden trap and split into 2 different paths, edging near the Iuja fire locations. Jani of the Iuja had come down from the fire positions and realized there existed no stopping both groups. He communicated to the fire position, "Warning, there are 4 Lwax headed your way. They are split into 2 teams of 2 each. I'm going after one of the team and will try and stop them. Not sure I can stop both teams." Janine approaches quietly behind 2 of the Lwax, pulling out his small pistol and putting his rifle over his shoulder. Janine observes the Lwax as they begin to climb over a large rock. Janine approaches the Lwax through a brush behind the attackers. The 2 climbing Lwax spot Janine and start to jump down to rush him. He fires point blank into one of them. The darts from the pistol weapon enters the lead Lwax and erupts, sending a spray of smaller needles throughout the Lwax body. Shot Lwax collapses 2 feet from Janine. The second Lwax hesitates for a moment, then resumes the attack, hitting Janine full force in his body armor. A hand-to-hand struggle causes them to roll around on the ground as the Lwax pulls a double-bladed knife. He attempts to stab Janine. The knife bounces off the body armor, and Janine twists the hand holding the knife, directing it towards the Lwax head. The knife penetrates the Lwax head, and a fierce scream erupts from the Lwax just before it goes limp. Janine rolls away from the dead Lwax. After rising to his feet, he picks up his pistol and heads in the direction of the other 2 remaining Lwax. Approaching the path of the other Lwax, his communication erupts with a call for help from the fire team position. Janine rushes forward to see the 2 Lwax, one dead but the other having shot one of the Iuja defenders and preparing to rush the Iuja location. Janine rushes the Lwax from behind, and just as he reaches the Lwax position, the Lwax swings around. With its strong arm flailing through the air, it smashes into Janine's helmet. Janine's pistol erupts at point-blank range, sending a fatal shot into the Lwax. Janine collapses as the liquid from his suit begins to seep out, leaving Janine gasping for his fluid atmosphere. The main battle has stopped as the few remaining Lwax again are forced to withdraw. The Iuja at an adjacent fire position split up. 2 began to help the Iuja, having been shot by the Lwax, while the other 2 quickly rushed down to Janine to apply a patch to his suit in an attempt to stem the flow of the liquid atmosphere. After sealing most of the leaks, 2 of the Iuja swiftly lift up Janine and carry him back to the cave. Upon reaching the cave, Lwax and Jsarex rapidly attempt to seal the remaining cracks in the faceplate using a patch kit from Jsarex to stop the atmospheric flow. Jsarex attaches a link from his suit to Janine's suit to allow for the transfer of spare fluids. The other Iuja is brought in. He had already died from the Lwax blast, which had hit a key connection point and ruptured his suit beyond repair. After a furious 10 minutes of work by Lwax and Jsarex, Janine is stabilized and would eventually recover. Pulling back from Janine, Jsarex receives an incoming message. "This is Fire Position 1. We can hear strange noise from the Lwax positions. Sounds like a fight, but also a lot of yelling that doesn't sound like the Lwax. Can't tell what's going on, just that something's happening." Lwax and Jsarex finish their work as a new message comes over the communications channel. "You got to come see this. Come outside." Jsarex looked up. "Lwax, follow me, but stay behind me. There still might be danger." The 2 cautiously move towards the mouth of the cave. Approaching the cave entrance, they can hear voices yelling outside. This was not the sound of the Lwax. This was sounds of Andrexia men. Lwax and Jsarex peek around the edge of the cave and are surprised to see the Lwax force slowly backing up towards the cave without their weapons and a number of Andrexia men herding them into a group as the Iuja and their supporting Andrexia men come down from their firing stations to finish closing the trap. Varian breaks away from the force, pushing the Lwax towards the cave entrance and rushes for the mouth of the cave. As Varian approaches, Lwax runs to meet him with open arms, followed by kisses and hugs for her love, with tears rolling down her cheeks. The 2 begin to walk arm in arm to the cave. Varian turns to Jsarex. "I was cut off from my return path by a Lwax patrol. I decided the only path left would be to head down the valley. I was able to meet up with the men watching the Lwax ships. We have not had time to talk with the other villages, so I made a decision to contact them and ask for help. I reached the caves of the village of Tanal and explained our situation, asking for help. They have always been helpful to us and quickly agreed to follow me back, armed with their hunting tools. Upon arrival, we met with other village men and our force monitored the Lwax returning from the previous battle. We waited as the Lwax set down their weapons and attempted to bind their wounds. When they appeared most vulnerable, we attacked, quickly capturing their weapons. The fight was short and furious. 2 of our group died, but the Lwax weapons had been captured and the Lwax leader killed. With the death of their leader in the short battle, the rest of the Lwax gave up. Jsarex looked at the Lwax force. Less than 50 Lwax survived the final assault. Jsarex shook his head as he turned to return to the cave and seek out Lwax. Jsarex approached Lwax in the back of the cave as she played a game with a number of the children. Lwax, I have some bad news. I've been trying to contact the ship. At this point, they have not responded. Given the space battle, I fear that our ship may have been lost to the attacking Lwax. Lwax collapses with the news. As she begins to recover, she begins to sob. Children gather around and try and comfort her, but it just continued to get worse. How can I go on? Everything is gone. Lwax comes over to hold Lwax and comfort her. My dear Lwax, you asked me to trust in my love. Please, I ask you to trust in your love. We need you. Children need you. Believe in your love. Well, folks, we've reached the end of the chapter. Click the link to continue listening to the story. Also, be sure to smash the like and subscribe buttons so you never miss another story on Watcher in the Fall. If you enjoy our videos, please click Patreon on the front page and buy me a drink. Thank you.